evening and welcome to 5 Live. I'm Pooja Shali. Let's begin first with the headlines in this evening bulletin. The Central Bureau of Investigation files an FIR in the Odisha train investigation under charge. White House hails India as a vibrant democracy. The statement comes days after Rahul Gandhi's criticism of the Indian government and the institutions abroad. The Central Bureau of Investigation files an FIR in the Odisha train investigation under charges of negligence, endangering life and a planned act by several persons. Agency is also scrutinizing the sabotage angle. Siddaramaiah government issues a notification for free power. Average unit of last 12 months to be counted. 10% free units to be added to the average of 12 months. Karnataka Husbandry Minister triggers a controversy, says cow slaughter is not wrong. BJP stages a massive protest with the cows. In some sports news, India to take on Australia in the World Test Championship final at the Oval on Wednesday. Australia announcing their player 11, while Rohit Sharma maintains a silence over India 11.
Yeah, looks a bit of help for the seamers, definitely, with the overhead conditions as well. It's going to assist seamers a fair bit.
Ahead of Modi's historic US trip, US hails India's vibrant democracy. RaGa's foreign attacks snubbed. World awaits big Biden-Modi meet. Diplomacy, diaspora and dosti. Top focus on 5 Live.
Congress leader Rahul Gandhi was on a relentless criticism spree. And then came United States of America's massive praise for India's democracy, terming our country's democracy as vibrant. White House official spoke at length about how India is a key partner for the United States. And this is just ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit. Take a look at this special report first.
India is a vibrant democracy. Anybody that happens to go to New Delhi can see that for themselves.
High praise for Indian democracy. A White House official on Monday rejected criticism around the health of democracy in India, calling it vibrant. White House official John Kirby also elaborated how India is a crucial ally for the United States.
India is a strong partner on very, very many levels with the United States. You saw that in Shangri-La, Secretary Austin announced some additional defense cooperation now that we're going to pursue with India. Of course, there's an awful lot of economic trade between our two countries. India is a member of the Pacific Quad and a key friend and partner with respect to Indo-Pacific security. I could go on and on and on.
The American assertion comes at a time when Rahul Gandhi is in the US. The Congress leader has targeted the Narendra Modi government over a host of issues, including alleged misuse of central agencies and the need for democracy.
India has to do what's in its self-interest, right? And that's what will guide us. But as a people, we are committed to a democratic vision. So I myself am not entirely convinced about the sort of autocratic vision that is being promoted.
Kirby's words of praise comes a day after Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met his counterpart Lloyd Austin in New Delhi. The two held strategic talks focusing on free, open and rules-bound Indo-Pacific region. The White House statement also assumed significance as Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting the US from June 21st to 24th. He's set to address a joint session of the US Congress on June the 22nd. He'll be the first Indian Prime Minister to address the US Congress twice. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, this is very interesting, and the reason for that is, remember that Rahul Gandhi has been on a 3-city tour going on a spree against the government and how the situation is deteriorating every day in different sectors in India is what he has been claiming, specifically with interacting to Indian diaspora. Let me take you through then the charges that were made by Rahul Gandhi, and then came by Washington this big statement. So what did Rahul Gandhi say? And it's not the first time that he's made that comment, and I want to take you through. In the last few days, he has said, remember that Prime Minister believes that he knows more than God, and he said that in the USA, that he's been there for the past few days, that there's no concept of opposition in India. BJP and RSS are infiltrating our institutions, and our microphones are switched off in the parliament even when we try and speak up. He said this at the Cambridge University and then in the USA as well. So repeated stance that he's taken. Remember last year as well in the UK, he had said soul of India is under attack, an attack from the BJP. India's voice is being crushed under Narendra Modi's government. The CBI and the ED are chewing the Indian state like Pakistan. So he was comparing India to Pakistan on foreign soil. There was, of course, the allegations of whether he was asking for any sort of foreign interference. But that's not all. Remember, way back in 2018, he had said that Prime Minister Modi is misusing public resentment over issues, and that there are more populist measures, that this is leading to the damage of the country. He's riding on inability, Rahul Gandhi had claimed, to solve unemployment, and that nothing is basically happening in and around India. In Singapore in 2018, he had said it's basically a general atmosphere of intimidation in India now. So the situation has completely changed, deteriorated in the country. There is divisive politics to win elections. That is the strategy of the BJP. We had plurality and freedom once in India, and that is being challenged now, is what Rahul Gandhi has been saying each time he is on a foreign visit. But this time, the statement coming in from Washington has perhaps put a question mark on that. It is very interesting how the reactions have been coming in from senior White House officials as well. So let's put this in perspective now. Joining me, our Foreign Affairs editor, Geeta Mohan, for the latest on that. Geeta, it's very interesting, you know, this remark that has come by Prime Minister, by the White House official on India, on the visit, is ahead of the visit by Prime Minister Modi. But this has repercussions on domestic politics as well. According to you, how should we view this statement?
Well, Pooja, it does have repercussions in terms of how the opposition views it. Now, if the opposition is going to take statements that are put out from reports of the USCIRF, that's a State Department commissioned independent body that looks at religious freedom, and uses that report to take on the government, then they should also look at the statements that have been made by the White House on democracy and democracy in India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Having said that, we do know that the United States of America, Pooja, is also treading carefully because there are a lot of important deals that have to be signed, and Prime Minister Modi's visit is being given utmost importance by Washington DC. So it's not about what the impact is going to be back home. It's about how much can one trust America's statements on India and India's record of human rights.
The bigger question is US also realizing the global position that India is beginning to show abroad, and is that the reason that even Washington is making it very clear what they think of Prime Minister Modi and India's democracy as well? Geeta, I request you to stay on, because what she said is also interesting. Remember, there have been a lot of flip-flops by the United States of America on India, and I want to take you through that as well. In March 2023, remember, US is saying India witnessing human rights violations last year. They were quoting this Religious Freedom Index. They were trying to put India down, and also added that religious freedom in India is under threat. Now, what was the reason that they were beginning to claim and come forth with this? According to their data, it suggested that religious freedom in India is under threat. And now they say it is one of the vibrant democracies of the world. So remember what is happening, the statements that are changing even by the United States of America. Also adding, remember before that, they had begun to say that there is about minorities, that they had said in June 2022 that there are attacks on minorities in India throughout 2021. Through the year, they are claiming that minorities are being targeted. Then remember on the CAA, when India was ensuring that the persecuted communities in our neighboring nations get shelter in India, to that, they said new Indian citizenship law is discriminatory against Muslims. Even on NRC, they had given statements, a law that was never even put in place. And finally, in June 2019, they had said the report on religious freedom notes mob attacks in India. And that is why it is imperative to mention that as India is becoming a rising global power, it is questioning the set global order. USA is also forced to change its statements. Our Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan continues to be with us. Geeta, that is my point. New Delhi will also be very cautious on how much to trust the USA, how to present their response in terms of what the Washington has said. Has there been a response yet from the Foreign Affairs Ministry on appreciating, calling us a vibrant democracy now ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit?
Well, no official word as of now, Pooja, with regards to the statement that has come out of the White House. But again, like you said, treading cautiously would be being on the right side of the order right now, given the kind of statements that we've seen from Washington, D.C., from the United States of America. But also remember that right now, the trajectory of the relationship is is moving towards and at a pace where they're looking at really important deals, and they're also looking at taking forward the strategic partnership between the two countries to another level. In that, the kind of statements that are coming from White House is what we've heard from Ambassador Eric Garcetti as well, when he said that India is indeed a democracy. If you're in New Delhi, you'll feel it, you'll experience it, and that's exactly what John Kirby also said. So while India could welcome these statements, India is also wary of the fact that there are other independent commissions that are rather harsh on India and India's record, human rights record, or record on minorities and handling of minorities within the country. So no statement so far from the Indian administration, but yes, all eyes to what the relationship and what relations between India and US could look like when Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes for his first state visit to the United States of America.
Very interesting. So an official visit very soon, but India treading very cautiously to see how the United States of America has been reacting previously and how that statement has come just a few hours ago. I request you to stay on with me, Geeta Mohan, because what's happening is, remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit the United States of America this month. June 21st to June 24th, that visit is scheduled. What does that mean? For the time in years, Modi will be traveling to the United States of America. It's an official visit. He will be hosted by US President Joe Biden at the White House. So what happens? What is the itinerary like? And it's a packed schedule. On 21st of June, United States of America's President Joe Biden will host the Prime Minister at White House. Then on the next day, there is a state dinner that has been scheduled for the Prime Minister at the White House. And he's also been invited to address a joint session of the US Congress. So it's specifically the 22nd of June, where we'll have likely an important statement coming up and the manner in which he could be hosted there in the country. Remember, it's very interesting how even US President Joe Biden has been reacting on Prime Minister Modi lately. He has said now that Modi is demonstrating that democracies matter. Prime Minister Modi is too popular, he says, in the United States of America. Many want to attend the Modi's US event that is being scheduled, and that he has a significant impact on the Quad and the summit that was recently cancelled, but that's where one of the visuals had come in Japan when they had met. Modi has influence in the Indo-Pacific region. Again, a recent visit that we had seen of Prime Minister where he was interacting with the island nations as well. And then he says, Prime Minister Modi is making a difference. Will India be cautious right now? Interesting remarks coming in from the US President Joe Biden. And as Geeta continues to be with us, Geeta, of course, there has been bonhomie that we have seen with the previous US President Donald Trump, now with Joe Biden as well. Clearly, at some level, the United States of America, can we say, is there an acknowledgement of sorts that India is a country you cannot ignore? It is a rising power and you will have to be friends with this nation.
Absolutely, Pooja. Undoubtedly so. India is indeed a rising power. India is one of the biggest markets and also is now tipped to become one of the most important countries when it comes to resilient supply chains. If there are nations that are looking at alternatives to China, then India is emerging as one of the most important alternatives. So India is a country that cannot be ignored, is the reason why we are looking at a very different way in the manner in which the West is handling India on issues in the past that India would have had to deal with a lot of criticism. No longer is that criticism coming India's way. What we're looking at is all of them looking to the importance of India in the larger perspective, in the larger geopolitics of things. And
it has a lot to do with the economic stability that India is presented at a time when the Western nations are at the brink of recession.
Absolutely, and that's why the resilient supply chain, where India is going to play a key role and is going to become a key partner to many nations in the West.
All right, Geeta Mohan continues to be with us. Remember, of course, it is going to be a much-awaited visit of Prime Minister Modi in the USA. What does he say? What will be the statement from the US President will be very crucial as well. But External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who was also abroad for a BRICS meeting, refused to comment on India's domestic matters on foreign soil, and specifically in the backdrop of how Rahul Gandhi has been all guns blazing in his visit in the USA. He has been slamming Modi government over a range of issues. This report will tell you more on what Rahul Gandhi has been saying and how our External Affairs Minister is reacting or not to it.
Two Indian leaders, one from the ruling party and the other from the opposition, are abroad interacting with the diaspora and holding meetings. Their approach totally different. If Congress leader Rahul Gandhi is using much of his time to target Prime Minister Narendra Modi, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is refusing to delve on Indian domestic politics.
I try when I go abroad not to do politics abroad. You know, even a democratic culture has a certain collective responsibility. There is a national interest, there is a collective image. There are sometimes things bigger than politics. And when you step outside the country, I think that's important to remember. So I may differ strongly with someone. I could say to you I differ with them, but how I countered it, I would like to go back at home and do it, and watch me when I get back.
While responding to a question at a diaspora meet in Cape Town, South Africa after the BRICS meet, Jaishankar did not name any leader, but his reference to Rahul Gandhi was obvious. In contrast, Rahul Gandhi has been attacking Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his speeches in the United States.
All of you came here by car, using your cars. Imagine if the only thing you did was look in the rearview mirror. And it's the same idea with the BJP, with the RSS, all of them. You listen to them. You listen to their ministers. You listen to the Prime Minister. You will never find them talking about the future. They will only talk about the past.
Rahul had earlier accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of playing God.
We have a group of people in India who are absolutely convinced that they know everything. In fact, I think they think maybe they know even more than God. They could sit down with God and have a conversation and explain to him, about what is going on. And of course, our Prime Minister is one such specimen. I think if you sat Modi ji down next to God, Modi ji would start explaining to God how the universe works.
While Rahul Gandhi is often criticized for attacking the Modi government on foreign soil, the Congress points to the Prime Minister's speeches abroad that have targeted earlier governments. But should Indian leaders be taking domestic political feuds abroad at all? It's a debate that is raging but not settled yet. Bureau Report, India Today.
So remarks on the foreign soil, but there are counter remarks here as well. After those comments on Prime Minister Modi in the United States of America by Rahul Gandhi, BJP President JP Nadda launched a scathing attack on Rahul Gandhi. Nadda has said that Rahul Gandhi opened a mega shopping mall of hate and further accused him of trying to divide Hindus and Muslims. Nadda has said, I quote him here, whenever India set a new record, the Yuvraj of Congress party could not digest India's pride. Remember, Rahul Gandhi was speaking at the University of California and said that India was being run by a group of people who are absolutely convinced that they know everything. He was basically mocking Prime Minister Modi, saying he's even capable of explaining things to God if he gets a chance.
दुनिया की वैक्सीन की तारीफ कर रहे हो और दुनिया भारत की वैक्सीन लेने के लिए तैयार बैठी है। 100 देशों ने भारत की वैक्सीन ली और तुम भारत की वैक्सीन पर प्रश्न खड़े करते हो और दुनिया की वैक्सीन की प्रशंसा करते हैं। अगर मैं बात करूं तो आप सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक पर प्रश्न खड़ा करते हैं। आप हिंदू मुस्लिम को डिवाइड करने की बात करते हैं और एक तरीके से विभाजन के समाज में डिवीजन हो, इस बात को आप प्रयास करते हैं और ऊपर से आप कहते हैं कि हम मोहब्बत की दुकान चला रहे हैं। अरे आप नफरत का मेगा शॉपिंग मॉल खोल करके बैठे।
इस समय देश के बाहर जाके और आप ये क्रिटिसिज्म शुरू कर देते हैं। उस दिन माइनॉरिटीज पे शुरू हो गए, तो मैंने याद करवाया इनको, माइनॉरिटीज पे आप शुरू हो गए। आपको याद है जब आपकी 13 साल उम्र थी तो नेली में मैसेकर हुआ था, 2000 हमारे एक माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी के हमारे भाई बहन मारे गए। जब आपकी 14 साल उम्र थी तो सिखों के खिलाफ क्या अत्याचार हुआ, 3000 हमारे सिख भाई मारे गए। तो ये बाहर जाके ऐसी बयान नहीं देने चाहिए उनको और उनको अपने समय याद करना चाहिए।
We have a group of people in India who are absolutely convinced that they know everything. In fact, I think they think maybe they know even more than God. They could sit down with God and have a conversation and explain to him, about what is going on. And of course, our Prime Minister is one such specimen. I think if you sat Modi ji down next to God, Modi ji would start explaining to God how the universe works. Right? Yes, and God would get confused that what have I created? So these are funny things.
राहुल गांधी जी ने बिल्कुल सही कहा। मोदी जी रियर व्यू से पीछे को देखते हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी क्या बातें करती है, टीपू सुल्तान की डेथ कैसे हुई, उसको कोलेस्ट्रॉल हो गया, मलेरिया हो गया। मोदी सरकार इतिहास और पास्ट में इतनी ज्यादा इन्वॉल्व हो गई, ना तो उनको प्रेजेंट दिख रहा। अगर प्रेजेंट दिखता तो भारत की बेटियों के मान सम्मान के लिए कड़ी कार्रवाई उस व्यक्ति के खिलाफ करती जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी का एमपी बना हुआ। और अगर फ्यूचर दिखता तो इकोनॉमी में ऐसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स का उपयोग किया जाता जो आने वाले समय में लोगों के रोजगार का सृजन कर सके। तो राहुल जी ने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा।
So 21st June is going to be very crucial and important will be the address by Prime Minister Modi in the United States of America. That's all about politics for now. I'm heading into a very short commercial break and getting you a special segment after because Apple has unveiled Vision Pro. It's the first mixed reality, an augmented headset with 3-dimensional camera. What does that mean for the technology of this world? We get you the detailed report after a very short break.
The remnants of a blood-stained disaster. And that's how it happened Friday evening in Odisha. At a speed of 128 km an hour, a Coromandel Express bound to Chennai veers onto an adjacent track occupied by an idled freight train. Its carriages jump off the rails. The derailed coaches topple and strike a second passenger train. The Yeshwantpur-Havra Superfast Express headed north on a parallel track, causing the last 3 carriages of that train also to derail. The country now seeks to know What caused this horror to unfold? What led Coromandel to divert from the main line to a wrong track in the first place? India Today has accessed the railway's preliminary inspection report. Its findings indicate that Coromandel briefly received a green signal to pass through. The train swung onto the adjoining track instead. By that time, the signal had turned red.
India Today had exclusively accessed this joint inspection report. That is like a first information report that details what exactly happened on that day. The conclusion says that the signal green was given and taken off. Experts say technically that's not possible. Once a signal is given, it cannot be taken off. This points to a signaling error, but what actually caused it is a matter of deeper investigation and inquiry that has been set up by the Indian Railway officials.
The passenger trains involved in the wreck weren't overspeeding. Under suspicion are problems in the track management system on that route.
अगर फेल हुआ तो उसमें फेल सेफ सिस्टम है, फेलियर कंप्यूटर समझता है, लॉजिक समझता है और उसको डिटेक्ट करेगा अगर कि यहाँ पे कोई फेलियर है तो वो सारे सिग्नल लाल हो जाएंगे, फेल सेफ हो जाएगा और गाड़ियाँ बंद हो जाएंगी कि पहले आप रुक जाइए, लेट अस चेक क्या प्रॉब्लम है, तभी आप आगे जाइए. तो ये फेल सेफ सिस्टम है एज फार एज द टैम्परिंग एंड द एरर पार्ट ऑफ इट इज कंसर्न. But however, as it is being suspected, there was some kind of a problem in the system.
But how could a fail-safe track management system fail? Several intriguing questions have therefore led the Railways Ministry to seek a criminal investigation by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Was it a mechanical malfunction alone, or was there an outside interference that caused it? Why didn't the computer-controlled interlocking system, which is supposed to lead trains automatically to empty tracks, work that day?
The cause of the accident has been identified and the people responsible have been identified. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इंटरलॉकिंग की बात है. इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इंटरलॉकिंग में जो चेंज किया जिसके कारण ये दुर्घटना हुई, सो अभी कुछ भी कहना ठीक नहीं है. लेट द एंटायर थिंग बी इन्वेस्टिगेटेड बाय द प्रॉपर इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग अथॉरिटीज.
It's rare but not unprecedented for the CBI to investigate train accidents. The Central Investigating Agency probed a 2010 train wreck in West Bengal that left 148 people dead. That derailment was found to be an act of criminal conspiracy and sabotage by a Maoist group.
Currently, ma'am, investigations are going on. But for a layman to understand what actually has occurred, where would you begin from?
I would like to share the map to show you where exactly this happened. This is a railway map which shows the track coming from south going to Kolkata. This is the direction from Chennai and Bangalore and Bhubaneswar, and the train goes like this via Kharagpur to Calcutta. This is the place where the accident took place, which is Bahanaga Bazaar. And if you see this, this is the station layout in a simple line diagram. And on that day, it is a 4-line station. It has 2 main lines and one up loop here and a down loop here.
Ma'am, what is known as a main line?
Main line is a train on which the train can go straight. It doesn't have any turns and bends, and since it is a straight track, the train can go at its maximum permitted speed.
And that day, this Coromandel Express was at what speed exactly?
It was at 128 kmph, which is its permitted within the permitted maximum permissible speed, which is 130 on this section. And the same thing for Yashwantpur. This was also traveling at 126. Its maximum is again 130.
So you're saying, ma'am, the two main lines are to let the trains pass without any obstruction, straightforward.
Yes, it's something like your highway, where the directions are separated. So this is your direction towards Chennai, and this is the direction towards Kolkata, and this we call upline and this we call downline at this particular station.
And there were these two loop lines. Now, what is the function of a loop line?
Loop line is an additional line which allows you to keep an extra train here and allow some other train to pass through the main line. Or it can also be that you keep a train here and pass another train like this.
Welcome back. Let's now tell you what's happening in the tech world. Remember, 3 manufacturing plants in India make iPhones for Apple's global market. India is one of the largest manufacturing base right now for Apple, outside of China, that is. Yet Apple has once again sidelined India for one of its most anticipated products since the launch of iPhone nearly 16 years ago. The company showcasing now an augmented reality headset last night, which was introduced, and slotting it for launch in the US and several other countries next year. There is, of course, however, no date yet announced for India, but here's what you can expect from Vision Pro.
For a man who spent nearly a week in India a couple of months ago, opening 2 flagship stores, meeting developers, visiting schools, meeting industry tycoons, meeting politicians, even Prime Minister Narendra Modi, India is still not a top priority for Apple CEO Tim Cook. Last night, Cook revealed Apple's most anticipated product since the iPhone in June 2007. The VR/AR headset will hit the market next year in stores across the US and several other countries. There is no word when the gizmo will be available in India. In the Apple CEO's own words, the headset is profound technology.
I believe that augmented reality is a profound technology. Blending digital content with the real world can unlock experiences like nothing we've ever seen. So today, I'm excited to announce an entirely new AR platform with a revolutionary new product. And here it is.
The Apple Vision Pro costs a bomb. The prices will start at $3,499 or nearly 3 lakh rupees. Apple said that users of the Vision Pro will be able to select content inside the goggles with their eyes, tap their fingers together to click, and gently flick to scroll, while also using a 3D camera and microphone system to capture videos and pictures that can be viewed in 3D later. In its most visually striking feature, the device also has an exterior display that shows the user's eyes to people in the outside world.
With Vision Pro, you're no longer limited by a display. Your surroundings become an infinite canvas. Use your apps anywhere and make them any size you want. Capture photos and videos and relive your most important memories in an entirely new way. Watch your movies, shows, and sports, and immerse yourself in games on a giant screen surrounded by spatial audio. And connect with people as if you're sharing the same space.
The headsets were the star attraction at the Apple Park after the official presentation ended. Tech analysts and hardened reporters going gaga over the headsets. Though the extra battery pack and the thought of lugging it around was a dampener, there was general consensus that Apple had not only met but exceeded expectations with the Vision Pro.
The price point is still a price point that is hard to justify at a mass market, but from an early adopter perspective, it's certainly a price point that when you look at the return on investment that you have from the device is definitely possible. And I thought what was interesting and different for Apple was to actually start talking about the device from an enterprise perspective first and then bring it to the consumer. We never seen Apple do that before with any product.
Ignored amidst the excitement around the headsets was the launch of the new 15-inch MacBook Air and the new spruced-up Mac Studio. The new feature-packed iOS 17 and macOS Sonoma with several upgrades were also on display with a release date of October. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
So how does this Vision Pro augmented reality headset work? Of course, we have prepared the description for you. And for that, I want to take you through what exactly is it going to look like. It's very interesting. Of course, it's futuristic in nature, but this also signifies how technology is always improving and we must catch up with it. Now, here's what's going to happen once and if you buy the Vision Pro as and when it is introduced in India. Remember, this is going to be an AR headset. It is, as you look at this, it's going to be an augmented reality headset. This is the first time that it is coming out by Apple. What does that mean? You wear the headset on your eyes, you need no controller. You're using your fingers, and that means basically that you are going to be in control. It's not the system or the computer that's controlling. It is you yourself who is in charge. Now, of course, that means that you're going to have to interact. For that, there are sensors. There are cameras and microphones in the headset that you're interacting with. 5 sensors will allow the eye tracking. So it will look like you are yourself in this augmented reality system. You can browse through icons, you can look at them, you can touch exactly how, for example, you use your phone or your device. How much will it cost? It's approximately 3 lakh rupees according to Indian money, which means about exactly 2,88,700 rupees. So who is going to shell out that amount of money for this augmented reality headset? It will be available for sale by early next year. Are there already going to be queues that we have seen, for example, to buy the recent Apple iPhone? Let's get a perspective of how the market is looking like. I'm going to go across to my colleague Rachna for the latest on that. Rachna, good evening. What does it look like? Are people excited for this augmented reality headset? Why has Apple made this venture and has gone ahead with it? And importantly, I'd love to see if there are people in India who are waiting for it to be introduced here. Rachna, I think your audio is on mute and we would love to hear what you have to tell us about the perspective about how prepared Indians are, and specifically those who are already in the Apple ecosystem.
Sure. Right. If iPhones are computers in our pockets, then this reality headset is a computer on our face. Apple's Vision Pro, which was launched last night, as you said, as an event, is company debut in this category. But now there are already a couple of options that are available in the market, but this one stands out for its premium version. It's so premium with the features they've come out with. Now this is an AR, VR headset which seamlessly blends into the reality, blends your real world into the augmented virtual reality that you choose. This has been in work for over 8 years now. This is CEO Tim Cook's brainchild, and as he describes it, it is the first ever app.
Rachna, keep tracking the latest on that because it's yet to be introduced, but clearly with the people so interested in Apple devices, it is going to be the next in line as well. Now, what does this mean? The Apple Vision Pro launch, remember, comes just after Mark Zuckerberg's own Meta showed off its Quest 3 VR, which is the virtual reality headset. So, of course, comparisons are being made. What is this Vision Pro? What is the Quest 1 between Meta and Apple? And remember, Meta for now is the one dominating the industry, but it's also as much about the costs involved. I want you to to take a look at how the comparison is and which one stacks up against the other.
One of the most high-profile launches this year. The Apple Vision Pro is the talk of the town today for its design, for its tech abilities, and for its $3,499 price tag.
This morning, Mark Zuckerberg shared that our Meta Quest 3, our next-gen VR headset.
What only die-hard techies know is that 3 days before Apple, Meta launched its Quest 3 headset for 1/7 of the Vision Pro price, $499. But this is not the only difference between the two. Apple, for once, is first targeting the enterprise sector with its VR headset. Analysts feel that with the way it's been priced, the headsets will only trickle down to the consumers later. Quest 3, with its $500 tag, is targeted bang in the middle of the consumer market. Apple's device is kitted out with all manner of cameras and sensors, which go a step further with an external screen that shows the eyes and expressions of the wearer from inside the devices. It's all controlled via finger and hand gestures along with voice commands. The Quest 3 also has external cameras and a depth sensor, but does not have an external screen to showcase your face while wearing it. Importantly, it also ships with a pair of upgraded motion controllers that are built for games and immersive apps. The Apple Vision Pro's twin internal displays provide a better than 4K resolution image for each eye. Apple says that the screens collectively pack in over 23 million pixels. Quest 3 is better than its predecessor, but its display does not compare to the Apple product. In terms of output, Apple is using its class-leading M2 processor to power the Vision Pro. It is paired with a new R1 chip that handles the data coming from cameras and sensors. Meanwhile, the Meta Quest 3 will reportedly use the Snapdragon Qualcomm XR2 chip, a step below M2 processors. On the content front, Apple Vision Pro is being sold as a spatial computer for productivity and an entertainment device, not as a gaming destination. Yes, it will run Apple Arcade games, but that is currently not the focus. Meanwhile, the Meta Quest platform already has loads of immersive VR games. The new Quest 3 headset will now allow AR games as well.
A couple of things. One is that from a trust perspective, especially in an enterprise environment, Apple has more trust than Meta does. I think from a consumer perspective, certainly Apple has more trust. There was a lot of talk around on-device machine learning, a lot of talk about data being stored on the device across the portfolio this morning. So I think that from a trust perspective, it's different. I also think that Apple has something that Meta doesn't have, and it's all the people that are here today for the developer conference. How engaged this developer community is and how they have learned to work with Apple to go from device to device and bring their apps and being supported doing that, I think is another key differentiator.
There is also the Apple ecosystem. Apple Vision Pro plugs into the vast world of iOS apps and can connect with a Mac to access that content. Meta's platform clearly doesn't have that advantage. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
So that's all about Apple Vision Pro, but we are not done yet. Because remember, technology with constant advancements coming in, the focus right now is on artificial intelligence. And if the artificial intelligence chatbots are currently talk of the town, what does that mean? The question is, could smart robots be far behind? Apparently not. There is a latest avatar by a British lab that has come forth, which resembles sort of, listen to it, a humanoid robot, and they have named it a mecha. The robot was first displayed in December 2021. It's been now integrated with artificial intelligence, and the results are frightening to some. But while questions are being raised, of course there is curiosity to it too. Take a look at this special report.
I'm price of 80.
Call it beautiful, call it airy. The fact is, Emeka is a revolution. A tech revolution foreseen in fiction by Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov.
Associated with AI and
Emeka, a humanoid robot developed by UK-based Engineered Arts, was first displayed in December 2021. Now, it is making waves again after being integrated with large language models, an advanced form of generative AI that are the basis for platforms such as ChatGPT. And to some, the result is frightening.
What would be the most nightmare scenario you can imagine with AI and robotics that might present a danger to people?
The most nightmare scenario I can imagine with AI and robotics is a world where robots have become so powerful that they are able to control or manipulate humans without their knowledge. This could lead to an oppressive society where the rights of individuals are no longer respected.
Do you think we're in danger of that happening now?
Not yet, but it is important to be aware of the potential risks and dangers associated with AI and robotics. We should take steps now to ensure that these technologies are used responsibly in order to avoid any negative consequences in the future.
Emeka did have some good news though.
Should people be worried about AI?
Yes, people should be aware of the potential risks associated with AI and robotics. However, it is important to remember that these technologies can also have a positive impact on our lives if used responsibly.
Emeka's head contains dozens of actuators that are responsible for controlling its facial expressions, giving it a human-like character that can frown, smile, and blink. It can also speak several languages, including Japanese, German, Chinese, French, British, and American English. The British lab which created the robot is also working on honing its software, which can be exported to other robots in the future.
The focus for the last year or so has been language models. So you'll have heard a lot about ChatGPT, GPT-3, GPT-4. So we've done some work on integration. There are many other models outside of the OpenAI ones that we hear about. We're also integrating vision components, recognizing faces, expression estimation, body pose estimation. So combining visual information with audio information. This particular model of Amica is a desktop model, so it's designed for research applications where you're really just concerned with facial expression and communication.
The desktop version of Emeka, made up of the head and upper torso, cost around $100,000. Full-bodied versions, which are still under development, are likely to cost as much as 4 times that, depending on the features. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
Recognize speech in multiple languages.
Very interesting. Waiting to see how this humanoid robot will interact with the world now. I'm heading into a very short break, but stay tuned. That's all about artificial intelligence. But after the break, it's going to be from the world of entertainment. What's brewing between F1 legend Lewis Hamilton and music star Shakira. We want to get you the latest. Some images are coming forth from their recent interactions. That and more after a very short break.
Tax fraud allegations has now
Not the Maharaja, Indigo is still the undisputed king of Indian skies. And the airline, with the ubiquitous blue livery, is ensuring it holds onto its crown. Indigo is reportedly spooling its engines to launch a 500 aircraft order. It would make it the biggest order till date from India. larger than the 470 aircraft ordered by Air India earlier this year. Indigo is eyeing 500 single-aisle Airbus A320 family aircraft with a sticker price of more than $50 billion. The final price, according to analysts, could be nearly half if discounts for bulk deals are included. Indigo is also planning on buying 25 wide-body aircraft, for which Airbus and Boeing are still in contention with their A330 Neo and 787 models. Indigo is already one of the largest Airbus customers, operating 308 Airbus-made aircraft. Nearly 500 aircraft are still to be delivered. There are fears that the two huge aircraft orders by Indigo and Air India could skew the demand-supply dynamics in the Indian markets. Indian carriers now have the second largest order book for aircraft, behind only the United States. The past few months have seen air traffic rise to zoom past pre-COVID levels as travelers return with a vengeance. Indigo had a market share of nearly 58% in April, with Vistara and Air India at a distant second and third positions. Go First, which went under last month, also had a decent 6% market share. With the Wadia Group-owned Go First grounded, Indian skies are running short of aircraft, pushing up airfares into stratosphere. There could be some relief for flyers in the future with these additions to aircraft fleet, both on domestic and international routes. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 41 and minimum 25 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 31 and minimum 28 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 42 and minimum 29 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 31 and minimum 23 degrees. Chennai, maximum 37 and minimum 28 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 40 and minimum 28 degrees.
Let me now tell you what Colombian singer and songwriter Shakira is up to. She was, remember, a few days ago was in the headlines for attending an event with actor Tom Cruise, who apparently dished the coronation ceremony of King Charles III to be with Shakira. And now what has happened is, interestingly, she's been seen attending another event, and this time, well, it got too close, and that was with F1 legend star Lewis Hamilton. These are the visuals.